Today we're doing a little bit of baking because everyone tells us to get off of YouTube and back in the kitchen anyway. We're going to bake a cake, and not just any cake, it's a recipe for institutionalized sexism. First, you're going to want to get a very large mixing bowl because the more we put in, the less women can accomplish, and that's exactly what we want. Every cake batter starts with a solid foundation, so you're going to add a generous amount of gender roles, about 1.5 cups. You can take these from the Bible or from the dominant religion of your culture. Store-bought gender roles are fine if you don't have time. Now, to have really strong institutionalized sexism, you're probably going to want to add 1.5 teaspoons of a constitution that's only representative of men. After that, you're going to want to add 1/4 teaspoon of voting rights for landowning men. Remember that this only works when women can't own land, so keep that in mind when buying the ingredients. At this point, some suffragists might come along and try to mess up your plan by trying to add their own basic human rights. So be cautious, don't worry, they probably will only want to get voting rights for white women, so it shouldn't be that much to worry about. In another bowl, you're going to want to add 1/2 cup of policies that take away from women's right to their own body. So you can add Comstock law, stringent abortion regulations, or you can even defund Planned Parenthood. Anything that'll stop a woman from having autonomy over her own body will work for this recipe. To this, you'll want to add 1 cup of implicit bias and pluralistic ignorance. Most people think it doesn't exist or it's an inconsequential ingredient, but if you don't add it, then women will be judged based off their merit and character instead of things like how they look, or their skin color, or their income or sexuality, or even how friendly they are, and we don't want that. Next, you'll want to add unequal pay and gender inequity in education. This will ensure that most women stay in the lower positions of power and in the work field. At this point, you could also add the glass ceiling and gatekeeping if you have the time. Then mix everything from both bowls together and bake it in an oven for 30 to 35 minutes, or until millions of people around the world begin to march and protest. Once it is baked and cooled, you can then decorate it with male presidents, an unequal representation in the government, a frosting portrait of Phyllis Schlafly, or even 246 years of slavery if you can find the time. Remember to be creative and have fun.